Hey, good evening, all. This is Hardik Shah, one of the directors of YPS, and I'll be your today's host. Today, I've been joined by Prema Kakade, one of the directors. Hi, Prema, how are you doing?
Hi Hardik, good and good evening and namaste to all.
Yeah, so welcome to the season 2, episode 4, YPS Meet Live. I hope you have been enjoying the YPS Meet Live, and if you have any views on that, do let us know in the comment section, or else you can just WhatsApp us on our official number. Now, today's presentation, one of the questions what I would like to ask to everyone in the field of photography: what's with the photography world, right? We all know that change is constant, and how are we going forward with that? So today's presentation is, top presentation is from Mr. Arvind Chenji, who is a commercial photographer and filmmaker from Hyderabad. We'll be connecting with him soon, and before that, we'll go through a round of announcements, and then without further ado, we'll jump into the presentation. Now, coming to the next YPS Meet Live, that is on March 21st. The presentation is going to be about Hampi. We all know how the wonderful place, the wonderful city, Hampi. So it's going to be Hampi with Hampi Banagar. The presenter is Mr. Shivashankar Banagar, who is famously known as Hampi Banagar. Also, he will be taking us through the Hampi, and it's going to be quite a visual treat for all of us. Coming to the next announcement, Drishti, the February edition will be out soon on the Drishti stand. The good thing about Drishti now is that you don't need to, be a member. All you need to do is go to the website, ypsbengaluru.com, and go to Drishti stand, and you can download all the copies for free and enjoy the read. Now, talking about Drishti, we would really want to have your views on it. We want feedback. It can be positive, it can be negative. We want both so that we can make it more better for you. Now, to have an understanding that how Drishti is going on with you all, if you can all let me know how many the issues have come out since we launched it last year, 2020. If you can let me know in the comment section, the first person who's going to tell us the exact number, what we would do is I would give a shout out, and this is only for the members. This does not apply to the EC members or the committee members or the team. If you can tell us how many issues we have, launched till now, I would definitely give you a shout out on your Insta handle or FB handle, whatever you want, or your website. So do let us know in the comment section, and I'll wait for the answer. Now, coming to the next announcement. Yes, becoming a YPS member is quite straightforward. All you need to do is scan the QR code on the screen, or you can go to our website and click on become a YPS member. The whole process is digitalized. And important thing, if you are not following us on social media, I would highly recommend you to go hit the like button and the follow button. If you're watching this on YouTube, click on the subscribe button and also click on the bell icon on the right bottom so that you get notified every time we go live and whenever we post content. This is really important so that you don't miss out any notifications from our end. Right now, if you're watching it on Facebook, also hit the like button and click on the share button too. Yes, that's it for today's announcement. Now, without further ado, let's jump into the presentation part. Over to you, Prayan.
Yeah, if you can bring in Mr. Arvind Chenji now, I
Yeah,
would like to introduce him formally. Yeah,
here we go.
Hi,
welcome, Arvind.
thank you, thank
Good
you.
evening.
How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Yeah.
So, like Hardik said, let me go ahead and introduce you formally. Of course, you don't need any introduction, but then it's my duty to do it to the world. So, this session, well, the title says it all. It's going to be a very introspective one. It's what's with the photography world? Trends and stagnation points is what Arvind is going to talk about. Now, as you all know, the art of photography is ever evolving in style, in equipment, and in expectations. And especially in equipment nowadays, and then as the equipment improves, the expectations also improve, go up. Now, Arvind Chenji believes that change is the only constant in life. Like his name, he has it in his name, it says Chenji. So he expects nothing less than change. Now, stagnation, he says, signifies the end. Now, all forms of art has changed, but trends in photography has remained with many stagnation points. Now, just think about this. So, the question that every photographer has to ask is, have I evolved or have I stagnated? Now, Arvind's talk will indeed be a game changer in a photographer's life. So, this is one talk which is going to make you think very deep before you hit the click button. Now, to tell a little about Mr. Arvind Chenji, he is a self-taught photographer and a filmmaker who has been dabbling in various verticals of photography from school, right from school time, 1978. Now, he has shot people, fashion, food, industry, products, editorials, and much more in his career. Well, I don't know what else you can add in that big list. Now, he has to his credit around 40 magazine covers and numerous stories in most publications in India and a few world over. He has also made 108 episodes for Z television. Was that 108 auspicious number that you picked on? You
Before I
must
got
tell me
sick.
about that. Okay, that's a good number. 108 episodes for Z television, of which 68 were on him teaching photography in a show titled Photo Show by Arvind Chenji. He has also made many corporate films for clients. Apart from this, he is also trained in shooting 3D projections on video and has done the video for Sri Pranab Mukherjee at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. That's going to be very interesting to know about. So, Arvind was also a brand representative for Sony cameras for a year. Currently, Arvind Chenji is the president of Telangana Photographic Society, which is the oldest body of its kind in the state, having been established in 1957 in the undivided state of Andhra Pradesh. Now, he has mentored many students in photography and more apart from having been a guest faculty at the College of Journalism, Osmania University, many years ago. Now, Arvind has also worked for the National Geographic Society as a photographer on assignments apart from having assisted two of their photographers in 6 shoots. He is also a key sports person and the key person involved with the Hyderabad Racing League, which helped identify, train, and nurture potential champion caliber cyclists. This effort has paid rich dividends to Telangana in the form of the first national road cycling medal after 25 years, and this year has given them 3 gold medals at the same. Now, he always believes that his next picture has to be his best one. Wow, this was, I don't know, one of the most impressive, about the authors that I have read.
I think we've run out of time now.
I'm speechless. I'm speechless, and I really look forward to this interaction with you. And I'm
Thank you.
sure all the viewers are also, waiting to see how, what challenging questions they can pose to you, and what
Yeah.
challenging answers, what answers they're going to get from you. So be prepared for a volley of bullets coming your way.
Ah, that's nice.
That's
More than
needed.
prepared. More than prepared. Yeah. That's such a long
So, can you
introduction.
tell us a little about your presentation before you just, go ahead with the formal this one? You can tell a little more about yourself also, something that I haven't been able to cover.
Well, a lot of things that you covered, I wouldn't have remembered myself. So I guess you know a lot more about me than I myself do. But nonetheless, I'm just a traveler in the world. Yeah. So I don't know when. So in the journey, I hope to make a difference. That's all. So thank you very much, Prima. Thank you, Hardik, and thank you, YPS, for calling me over. Um, before I start, I'd like to start with uh, the standard way. I'd like to show some of my pictures. I've got very few pictures of mine. I'd like to run through them very quickly, and after that, I'd like to talk about what I think are the issues which are affecting photography in this country or perhaps in this world. What I think they are. Okay, it's not necessarily that they could be what you think they are, but nonetheless, please do hear me out. And I believe that if we can harness our minds, we can all end up as probably better visualizers and probably better photographers too.
Yeah.
So Yeah, can we go through some pictures of mine just for people to know that what kind of stuff I do? It's one of the mundane kind of work I do, but I'm happy doing my work. It pays me a lot of money, so I'm very happy with that. So please, let's go through that.
Yeah, sure. I'll bring up the presentation. Just, before that, I'll just pick some comments which we had received for the Drishti issues. Sridhar says 4. No, that's not the right answer. Kashi says 4. That's not the right answer. So that is not even quite close. So we'll try again. And I have already told you, to find out how many issues is you can know, all you need to do is go to the website.
No, you can give the clue. You can't give the clue.
We will post it first. We'll go to the website first and count it and then post it out. So it'll be like fastest fingers. Okay, we'll wait for that. And meanwhile, let me bring the presentation up.
Yeah, so this is a portfolio that I was doing for a model, and just for fun, we were doing the pictures. A stunningly pretty girl, and she's a young girl. I've known her a little kid, and then, surprisingly, a lot of models I shoot nowadays I've known as little children. So they've all grown older, and I've grown younger. So that's the story out there. And let's go to the next picture, Hardik.
Yeah. Oh, you can.
I can do that.
Yeah, you can switch to the preview and click on the second thumbnail and go to the full screen.
Now that's got me a little preview.
Yeah. Just switch to the preview window where the image. Try Command Tab.
Am I okay? No.
I guess you're not yet come on the preview yet. Keep pressing Command Tab until it comes to the preview.
Okay. Forgive my technical ignorance again. Command what?
Command Tab.
Star.
Tab.
Command
Tab. Okay.
You will see, keep pressing Command Tab and you will see the preview. So just click on the preview and should get highlighted. I'll let you know once it is highlighted. Or I'll just minimize the Google Chrome. Probably it should be just behind.
Are we on? Are we on?
Yeah. Perfect. It has changed. Yeah. You can just put on full screen on the green button on the top left.
Right.
Yeah. Perfect.
So this particular picture, I was shooting Lakshman for his biography. He'd done this biography called 281 and Beyond. And so a little bit of thought which got into my head was that, Lakshman, you're not. Lakshman was always known as the thorough gentleman, the perfect, always immaculate, well-dressed kind of a person. And I wanted to show Lakshman, the man out there, that he's got a stubble, he's got a white beard, he's got everything going with him. So I said 281 and Beyond is a lot about experience. So that's why I got him to. I shot some pictures of him without shaving, and they used one of the pictures. But then they also managed to brighten up his teeth so much that it looked like a happy dent ad, So it didn't really work, but I like the pictures anyway. That's why he was a fantastic person. I shoot a lot of food sometimes, and this was actually in my wife's bakery, which I shot this picture at some point. And I found some glass and all. I do very instinctive, very quick pictures. And this is one of those pictures too. Good part is that I get to maybe look at this and sniff at this, but nobody gives me the food anymore nowadays. Talking about controlling weight. But this picture, I'd done the typical round of going to Mathura Vrindavan and during Holi, and I got this guy, and I don't know what, he looked so zonked out and zoned out. So I got a nice portrait of him, I believe. I also got a lot of color in my camera that day. So there's a picture I was doing for a story and an exhibition of somebody that we're doing a story on women, which said dark is beautiful. I very fervently believe in that theme. Dark or light skin doesn't matter. Beautiful is something that very deep inside. The particular girl, a very smart girl, and she's a journalist too. And I love shooting her. She's a very pretty girl. So she's actually lying down on the floor when I did the picture. So that's how it was. For a brief period, I did a calendar with calendar based on the zodiac signs, and the students of a fashion technology college here chipped in and gave me all these props. So the girls from Iran, and I think she's in Belgium right now, and I took her to the lake, and I did a mixed light shot of this. And so this is, uh, I'm guessing Cancer. Cancer is the one, the crab. So I did the whole every zodiac sign had a different person, men and women over there. Then it's published as a calendar at the time. So I'd like to redo this calendar every year because it's a very interesting concept, and every time you can do a different kind of a set of pictures too.
Yeah, it's quite interesting the way the zodiac
I
signs
wish I could show the thing to it. But the merging of people and theme and location. Very interesting shoot for me that time. Well, this was a regatta. The people were training for the regatta, which was happening in Hussain Sagar Lake in Hyderabad. And I just happened to be there, and I went because I shot from the bank of the. So the boat was pretty close to me. It was a wide angle, and the sky was overcast, and no, I did not do much of manipulation. The other picture, in a way, I'm proud of it, and in a way, I'm not very proud of it. Sindhu is an exceptionally nice girl. I've also shot Saina recently for two of the nicest kids that you know. Two of the nicest girls that you can meet in either out of Hyderabad. And Sindhu is also a very nice girl. But the reason I don't particularly care too much for this kind of thing, people come up with a scheme and they'd show me a reference image and say, if you want a picture like this, that kind of kills me a little bit. So that's what we'll be talking about when we're talking about advertising photography a little later.
Mm-hmm.
This is a girl that, these are the kind of pictures I love to do because it's a connect between the girl and the photographer who was shooting it. There has to be this intense connect. And she's a yoga teacher and one of the nicest people that I know, actually. It was a shoot that I did some time back. I was shooting berry-based drinks at the Marriott hotels, and the chef was from Australia, and he came up and said, "Look, I have some food-grade inflammable liquid," and he put it on top of the glasses, and he set fire to it. So I actually shut the hall in which I was shooting and turned off all the lights, and there's a 30-second exposure out here, along with a couple of flash guns which I set up. After doing the picture, I said I want the ground also to be lit. So we set fire to the ground also, and then did the picture. So it's not necessary for me, that I have to do a drink like a drink, and I would rather not be bored out of my skin doing so much stuff. But I'd like to do something different, something which makes it more eye-catching. If I'm doing any picture, I'd like it to be noticed. This picture was for a lady who designed saris, and we went to this stunningly pretty beach in Kerala with two very, very pretty girls. And that's a mirror that I stuck in the ground over there on the beach. And the two girls, the reflection of the girl on one side, the other girl in the shadow. And I had a whole set of dramatic images of different saris out here. These images I really liked very much. And the sky also popped out very well. So this is quite some time back in Kerala. And so I'd like doing such stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
So this is one more drink shot. I don't recall what it was for. This for some hotel. It's a very interesting picture. Then again, we have Gopi Chand, the shuttle player. I remember the story we were doing was on the business of badminton. And Gopi was chosen, and I'd asked Gopi to wear a suit, and he didn't have one. This man is so incredibly simple, difficult even to explain to you. That can you imagine at this position the man said, "I don't have a suit." So we borrowed a jacket from somebody, a pair of formal trousers from some. I guess he had the trousers himself. And then I made somebody throw shuttlecocks at him from the other side of the net, and I used a flash and a slow shutter speed on this. But the thing about Gopi is that, however soft and gentle he is in person, and when he comes to hitting the shuttlecock, he will kill it. So you can see that in the eyes of that man. But again, one of the reasons I think we are all doing well is because this man realized that he can do a difference. He can make a difference in the world of badminton in India. So these are the kind of people that we need in photography too. So we can now, how do I exit out of here? Did I? That's where we also saw pictures, and so can we If you have any questions on these pictures, I'd be happy to answer. If not, I'd like to talk about what's happening generally, and
Yeah.
so I'd like to.
I have one question about one of the pictures that I saw of the model. You said that was a calendar picture of Cancer sign, zodiac sign, is it?
Which one?
Now, what the girl standing in the water by the lake?
With the cancer guy.
Yeah. That one. What I noticed was, there's a horizon tilt that you have on. You have chosen to use it in that perspective. It's a bold, very bold horizon tilt you've taken, and what was the thought behind it? And then and how do you manage that now? Suppose when you tilt your camera, how do you keep the subject in line that way?
So here's what I'd like to say, Prema, because I guess I'm talking to a lot of people who do photography for just for their own passion and their own pleasure. So
can we see the picture?
Can we see the picture
can
again?
Have the picture. Yes, please.
Arvind, can you get that back?
You will have to share the screen from there. Do one thing, open that image and just guide you through to share it.
Open that image, is it? Okay.
Yeah, same image. Also, to all the audience, if you have any questions, and we want to make this more interactive session, so whatever thoughts you have, about the photography, like
yeah. So open the image, Hardik.
You opened the image?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you come to the Google Chrome and click on share button at the bottom and on share screen? Select application.
This is for the viewers. I request you to throw up a lot of questions. Any question, be it simple, be it complicated, let's get the answers out and let's see how how we can better our skills at photography.
So sorry, Hardik, I've got this. The image is open, but when I'm clicking on share screen.
Yeah, so you should be able to see something called application window. You have clicked on share screen.
I'm sorry, application window.
Yeah, application window and select the.
Got it.
Okay, I got it. Let me bring it up on the screen. Yep, there it is.
That's okay. So you're talking about the tilt of the horizon, right?
Yes.
Prima?
Yeah.
So what I'd like to say is, that some of these things are completely instinctive, completely personal, and I am not going to be ruled by a diktat which says that this is wrong in photography, because I do things which I feel are nice and good. As long as my image provokes thought and provokes something. I mean, this picture may not be good enough for a salon, but then salons again are something which we would like to discuss again. But this, for me, purely is if I can connect with the picture, people look at it and they remember this, I'm happy, my job is done. So every picture has a job to be done, and I believe this picture has done its job in some way. As a collective bunch, a couple of the pictures were made without any doubt, and but overall it was a fairly decent effort, and I'd like to do it one more time, pretty soon.
Yeah.
The whole zodiac thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Any further questions on this?
Yeah, there's a question by Chandrasekhar. Hardik, can you bring it up?
Yeah. The image.
So he says, how did you anchor the mirror on Cherai Beach? Was someone holding it behind?
There was nobody holding it. I managed to position a chair, small plastic chair behind, and I dug the mirror in and inclined it a little bit on the plastic chair.
Mm-hmm.
There's some kind of behind that I managed to hold it up against. The mirror was big and it was heavy, but I had enough of help that day. There were at least 6 people working with me on the shoot, so it was good, easy for me.
Initially, when I saw that image, I was like, there are 3, people in the frame. And then I was like, there's something not right with the sky and something is not matching. Is that something edited? Then I understood, okay, at the moment you said there's a mirror and it connected, yeah. So that was quite good. Did you try to manage to, kind of make the, what is seen in the mirror match with the background, or it just came as is?
No, it just more or less as it is. 95% what you see is what I got in the frame. I try to. I'm one of those guys who doesn't want to fool around too much with post processing, which I believe is a little bit of a problem with
Yeah.
world of photography. So when you see these things, you have. Can I close this something? The preview thing.
You can just minimize it. Yeah, yeah. You can close it. No worries.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah. So let's go ahead and. So if I'm
So,
going to
so
split,
let's hear a little, of your thought about photography, and then I guess the questions will come once they hear your thoughts.
again, it's a very, very difficult to explain or express, but I'm going to give it a good shot and try. So what I feel, this times are when we were sitting in a world where we were stuck with photo. When we started with photography, we had exposures of a few minutes per picture. So a few minutes per picture meant that you had to, if you wanted to shoot a person, you had to rivet the person down to a chair or something like that, do it. And subsequently, you actually had head clamps and waist clamps, and the person sat down. And so obviously, when the person, the older picture, you'll only find serious-looking people, because you can't get somebody to smile for 2.5 minutes when you're shooting that picture. So that was the picture. So a little later, as photography evolved, as cameras evolved, as films evolved, films came into existence, speeds became faster. You started shooting moments. You started this whole decisive moment business, and which was probably where we finally stopped in terms of growth of photography. But for a long time, we still are stuck with saying, that's not me. We're still stuck. It's saying, okay, let's get Rembrandt writing into the photograph. Why Rembrandt? Had Rembrandt been around, would he have stuck with the same lighting? Or has that been the benchmark that has been set for all photographers? We still continue with that. So that's why we're coming into the salon photography business, and we're still saying, oh, we have butterfly lighting, and I need to get the three-quarter shadow out here, then I get the triangular shadow out here, the shadow of the nose touching the lip of the lip, upper lip of the person. Only that is perfect photography. It's a bummer. I don't even accept it anymore. There's so much that has happened in the world of photography. Why are we pulling it back? Why are we putting brakes on the minds of people who are practicing photography today? Why can't we just tell them to start imagining things in their own mind, in their own context, and come back with new images? Along the way, you might infuse a rule of third over there, or the leading lines over there, along the way. It's not a rule. But that's what is happening everywhere. So when I see a picture coming up for a salon, I see some brilliant photographers' work have not made it to salons. Therefore, I look at the work. And I'm not saying brilliant photographers' work. Let's say I'm saying brilliant work, photographer immaterial. So why on earth are we not showcasing it? Why have we got a standard formula fixated, and which is, if you want to win in a salon, if you want points in a salon, this is the kind of photography which has to be done. What are you doing?
Yeah.
What you're doing is that you are actually killing a person's ability to think out of the box. Isn't that what we are all guilty of? So, which is one of the reasons why I personally don't like to take part in salons, but then salons are, like as the president of the Telangana Photographic Society, I believe that we are like a multi-quiz industry. If somebody comes in for something, somebody wants salon, the salon has to be there. But then again, it is my personal thought I'm trying to share with you all. So you have these most mundane, boring pictures, which are, earlier on in the 40s and 50s, where you could freeze at 5/100th of a second, there would be something called the water drinker. I mean, there's somebody pouring water into his mouth from a jug, and the picture's titled The Water Drinker. Why do we have a water drinker today? We still have such pictures coming up. We still have people coming in and not connecting with the person they're shooting at all. I've seen people holding workshops with 200 photographers, perhaps at times, shooting one subject. other than wildlife, I don't see anything else. Even wildlife, I guess people want to be loner when they go out there and do it. But then, how on earth can you call it photography? How on earth can you call it your photography? It is nothing about you. If you do not connect with your model, if you do not connect with the person you're shooting, if you're not able to elicit a response from them, if you're not able to move up and down, that's not your picture. If you're not decided on the background, it's not a product of your mind. It's a general purpose birth. So that's where I am deeply distressed sometimes when I see these things happening. I saw some picture of somebody doing one girl sitting at a potter's wheel. A potter's wheel becomes a favorite. There are a handful of favorite pictures and so on. So there are these pictures that I always say, like the two kids will be taking a wheel and running around. They take a stick and hit the wheel and go around the place. Or there'll be some cows walking through one nice country path, backlit with some trees here and there. Then they'll talk of composition over there. How many times have I seen the picture? Every time I see a picture like that, there's always a deja vu. That kind of feeling comes up to me, and I wonder when did we allow ourselves to die when we are doing all these images? So, so there's more to it. So this particular picture of this girl they took, and she's working at a potter's wheel, and she's wearing rings. She's wearing a finger ring, and doing pottery, and she's got lipstick. And you got nice makeup on. It just simply goes against my grain when I see these kind of pictures, this kind of effort. So what you're doing basically is that you are leading young minds.
Do they form a kind of a stepping stone into your own creativity? When you just start photography, maybe you learn with such mundane things, and then it becomes a stepping stone. Or that doesn't have to be at all.
From a point of view, I wouldn't like to dispute about Prima. I'm sure it's a stepping stone. But how many people have crossed that stepping stone and gone beyond that? Don't you think it's...
That's a big question, yeah.
Don't you think it's better that if we let a mind develop by itself, you cultivate the mind, you feed it thoughts and let them come back with pictures. If you're a teacher, then that's the way you have to teach them. And you cannot... let's just imagine if it's in the field of architecture, the pinnacle of architecture, let's say, is Taj Mahal right now for us. I'm just saying, okay, not necessarily the pinnacle of architecture. Let's say it's a pinnacle of architecture.
Yeah.
Do we stop short at it? Do we not build the World Trade Center?
Yeah.
Don't we not build the Twin Towers? Don't we go beyond all that and do it? But who takes you beyond all that? It's your own mind. It's a few people who can. It's a handful of people who come up despite the system that we put into place. So this is what is hurtful sometimes. So like when we're talking about this, likewise when it comes to my own field of photography, where I do a lot of advertising work. Recently I had probably one of the most painful shoots that I've ever done in my life. There were people who came up, the art director came up and he gave me 3 pictures. One of the pictures, let's say, was a father and a daughter, and the campaign was some chit fund company. And they wanted, it happened with all the 3 pictures, but the time I finished it, I felt like I'd been used and discarded. So they showed me a picture. They said the girl is wearing a red silk sari. We want a red silk sari with gold border. Then they want this particular kind of jewelry, this kind of hairstyle. Then they said we want a South Indian model only because we want South Indian looking father and a mother because of the South Indian campaign. But out of the 50 South Indian models that were sent to them, they selected finally North Indian models only for something. We have that fairness fixation again. And then comes this whole thing. The father put his hand like that on the girl. So we want it exactly like that. I said, why don't you buy yourself a Xerox machine and Xerox this thing? Or why don't you just buy this picture and use it? So what I'm saying is, the essence of it is that a client is spending a ton of money on trying to gain some traction for his business. And if I am not honest in producing a visual, which will probably illustrate the line, which will probably captivate the person watching the picture, looking at the picture, I am doing injustice to the client, I am doing injustice to the industry, And the only person who will be held responsible is me because I'm not in the scene at all. Let's say a photographer kharab kar diya. So that's what is going to happen. It's, these kind of things, and not just in advertising. So when you see these images, it could be a very simple image which can have a very powerful line going along with it. Like the most famous image which comes into my mind is always the Volkswagen Beetle thing. You know, it's a big white layout with a small car in the middle. The line which goes over there, brilliant. I'm saying it's some people will say it's not good enough photography, but yes, it went together as an advertisement. It made sense to me. Whereas here, if I wanted to show the pride a father felt in getting the daughter married at the moment of the wedding and how the connection was there, I should be evolved enough to be able to control the shoot and produce an image which will make a telling difference to the client. But today we're not allowed to do that. Because we have sold ourselves to unthinking people. We have to survive. So this whole dog eat dog business is what's ruining the business. And I believe that, even when I see students and going to colleges of photography, attending workshops, do I sound like a doomsday prophet over here? I mean, I'm not sounding too negative, am I? Just showing out a real head. I'm asking you.
That's the no.
I'm sorry.
No, that's actually what's needed. This is what we want to hear because this is where our eyes open. Like we are given a tool, a black box, which is able to capture what you can think of. Like imagine today, me getting a phone to capture images or a new DSLR or a new mirrorless camera is not a big thing. But say 300 years back, when they were able to produce something in front of them, for them it was such a big thing. It was like a magical thing, right? Such a tool we have been given, and we have been doing same things what others have been doing. I mean, we can do whatever we want.
Yeah, 50, 60 years ago. The only people that I noticed, the people who become heroes in this whole trade are people who come up with, they put their mind on the picture. When you see the picture, you're not looking, like our past president Satya Prasad was saying some time back that, he said, somebody had said that by looking at a photograph, you know more about the photographer than the photograph. So that is a very critical statement to make. You need to take things forward. And when I see students of photography studying for 3-4 years, and then coming back to me and showing me these pictures of group shots, fundamentals of architecture, which is like when they go out and shoot architecture, they shoot the same angle because you have to compose it through this window or through that door. All the rules are there. Can we have somebody breaking the rules?
Yeah.
Please let's take it forward and let's not kill the trade anymore than that.
I guess this is what has happened. When someone is being introduced to photography and they show it to someone, they say if they achieve say Rembrandt lighting, okay, as you said, someone would say, "Wow, you are really good. You achieved this." But the next sentence should be, "Okay, now what you will do to make it something different of your own." I guess that question is not being asked today, right? They would just say, "Wow, you've done a great job. You achieved Rembrandt lighting, butterfly lighting, or this or that. Rule of thirds is good. There is this, there is that." But how can you take it forward, right? With your own imagination, show something new.
Correct. So all this, you can do the rule of third, you can do butterfly lighting, you can do Rembrandt, you can do everything, but if the soul of the picture is missing, you miss the picture completely. You're shooting a person like let's say Yusuf Kash's pictures, a portrait used to be a stand-apart image because he used to connect with the person he was shooting. That connect is what needs to be taught and understood. If the connect is not taught and not understood, the technicalities are very simple. Like when he picked up the driving a car, it was a phenomenal, achievement if you could coordinate your clutch and gear shift and accelerator and brake. But likewise, when you picked up the camera, understanding the shutter speed, aperture, but once you know it, these are all at your fingertips. You don't even think of it next time. So technically, I always tell people it'll take me about 1 hour to teach an averagely intelligent person how to use a camera.
True.
It will take a lifetime for a person to become a photographer. And maybe a lifetime is not enough too. I mean, we are in such a blessed line. We are all enjoying it, and we are all supposed to be enjoying it. But we also, like you said, Hardik, somebody will come up and say, "What a nice picture! What nice lighting!" But the problem today is that everybody has become a I mean, why on earth would you want to go and ask your neighbor, how's this picture? Or your friend, how's this picture? Are they qualified people?
Yeah.
So most people base their the value of their picture as being good, great, or excellent, or bad based on the number of likes they get on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. There are now people buying likes. There are people buying followers.
True.
What kind of a world have we come into here? I mean, aren't you? I would be ashamed of doing anything like that and close to that. So let's. I'm just saying, I'm just using this platform. Forgive me if I'm transgressing too much, but then I'm using this platform to tell people that this is very important. Like when I look at photography in different regions of the country. Let's take Bangalore itself, for example. Bangalore is very close to a lot of wildlife.
Yeah.
There were some phenomenal wildlife photographers who came out of Bangalore. They set the trend for others to go there and do wildlife. So they're doing fantastic wildlife. What about the rest of the stuff? Hyderabad had this whole bunch of Nawabi people running the photographic society. So they had a typical kind of, they're all good. Then we had one gentleman who would take us on to Araku Valley. He did some fantastic images of Araku Valley. Even today, people still go back to Araku Valley and do the pictures. So you will notice this as a trend in region. I mean, if somebody within, let's say, in Hyderabad wants to do a very different picture of wildlife, they find it difficult. They've been very good wildlife photographers from here. They've been very good wildlife photographers all over.
Yeah.
Who do they follow? What do they learn? How much do they learn? Why are you restricting it? I always, again, like I said, Prema is looking very distressed, but Prema, please bear with me.
No, I had a question. I'll tell you. It was just a thought. So, the thought that came to me was, well, now we are talking so much about all these rules and what photography we're doing for others. But when you just do it for your own liking, the way you want it, of course, you do have to learn all the basics. So you go through all those, rules, and later on you break them all right. But at such a time, can we just do it for our own pleasure, just for the love of doing it, and then, feel happy about it? At that time, that is not the time. I mean, it's not just about salons, and it's not just about getting likes on Facebook or whatever it is. There are many of us who are not very active on social media and all that. But then at the same time, when we do a picture, sometimes with some pictures, like you said, others may not like it or appreciate it, but then it gives you a sense of satisfaction. It gives you some kind of a happiness. So what do you say about those kind of pictures?
So and those are the pictures which keep you happy. Those are pictures which, when I started doing photography, I remember doing a picture of a butterfly sitting on a flower. I was so thrilled with that picture. I remember doing pictures of sunrises and sunset, being very thrilled about that. Those pictures were happiness. But as I changed as a person, as I kept going along, things kept changing. And I'm glad that I changed and got along with the way I'm doing my work, and I've had a good run, I would like to say. But so I'd say that you must do what keeps you happy, and you must introspect upon the picture and do it yourself. And if you like to do something, well, let's take I'm mentioning Satya again. He's from Hyderabad, but the only thing that he shoots, is the Himalayas. I mean, he said he won't even pick up his camera if he goes anywhere else. He comes and attend the workshops. That's what I really like. And we have another guy called Srikanth who does some extraordinary images and street photography, and really, really outstanding work. So I'd like such practitioners to come up and do well in life.
Yeah. We have Mr. Satya Prasad. He says there's a comment from him. Yeah. That's exactly what he says. What you said. Learn rules like a professional and break them like an artist. So that's because so I would take it as this thing from every one of us. Well, what if you don't know any rules at all, and then you just do photography?
See, don't you think, Prema, for a second, what if you don't know any rules? It's such a state of bliss.
Yep.
Yes.
That's the reason why you picked up the camera. But now that you know it, then you can break the rules. It's okay. But so break the rules. We've stopped breaking the rules. We've stopped going beyond the boundaries. We've stopped thinking out of the box. We've stopped doing anything. We just do the same thing. You go over there. I am quite willing to hang up my camera sometimes. But then I sometimes go out there and say, man, here's a picture I'd like to do. The moment I pick up the camera, it's a different thing. It gives me a lot of excitement still, a lot of happiness still. So that's why I keep doing photography, even now. So that's what it is. So let's take life back to being very simple, and let's not assume that we are Mr. Know-it-all. We can teach everybody anything. I don't know. I know nothing about it. I'm very glad that I would be happy to be in a place that I know nothing.
Yeah.
And do some more imagery out of that. I visualize. I'd like to, just yesterday, I was 2-3 days back, I was in the forest in Karnataka, and I was looking at some falling leaves from the trees as I was driving through the forest. And I said, I want to shoot the leaf falling. And the image is already in my head. So I'd like to go and do that if I sometime. If not in Karnataka, I can come here and do it. I'd like to do that. That's the way I'd like to work. So there's a very, very strongly neglected field of photography is the photography for art, photography as art. Because art is a very individual feeling that comes from within. Only then can it be called art.
Yeah.
But
there are a lot of people who go into this artistic form of photography now. There's a lot that they can do with software. So, it's not in camera. They don't do much in camera, but with the software, they create, all kinds of stuff, of course, artistic stuff also. So is that also acceptable as a photographer?
Look, I'd like to say this again, Prima, this software business, as you look at it even now today, you look at a picture and you're blown away by the reds in the sky or the oranges in the sky. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. Then over a period of time, it's come to me that the sky is a rich blue. The clouds are standing out. The animal, everything is so saturated. It is not the truth. To get a picture like that 25 years ago, before Photoshop and all came into existence, would have been practically one picture in a blue moon would have been like that. So now, over a period of time, when I see more of these pictures which have been overdone, overcorrected, overemphasized, they've lost their charm as far as I'm concerned. So that doesn't qualify as art to me at all. At all. So I would.
So for you, what you get in camera is art.
Sorry. What
you get in camera is art, is it? Do you confine yourself to that?
No, I wouldn't say that. I would say that if you feel a picture, and if you produce the picture according to what you feel, then you produce some work. Yeah, and also, when I see a lot of pictures coming out from people, they come up and say, "How's this?" It's a very mundane picture. You're picking up the camera. There's no cost of film. There's no processing. There's no printing cost. There's no nothing. There's no cost. You have a camera. You're set for life. You go out there and shoot a zillion subjects, and you keep popping them up and saying, "How's this? How's this? How's this?" I'm bored to death with that. Somebody shooting on boat here. Somebody shooting on rickshaw there. Somebody shooting on lock over here. Somebody shooting a hat. Somebody shooting an apple. There's no subject there. But can you make that subject art? That depends upon your mind. You can make that subject also art, but you're shooting it so quickly, shooting it so unthinkingly that you're not coming out with a good picture. People don't even pause to think for a second before they shoot. They just pick up and shoot. I can't even shoot that fast with my mobile phone. For me, mobile phone also, it takes me a little time to look at the frame, figure out what's plus, what minus. That's the way I work. But I like people. I'm not telling people to work like me, but I'm telling people to start using their minds. I'm telling people there's more to photography than a million people coming up and saying, "Yes, you are. Your work is fantastic." Somebody, Instagram influencers.
Yep.
What does it mean? How have we allowed ourselves to slide down to the level and say that somebody else is going to tell somebody else that your photography is good and then his photography is good. And what is the biggest problem here? As a group of photographers from this country, we failed to recognize good photography. We failed to idolize good photographers. We have salons coming out of my ears now. There's salon every now and then. There are exhibitions every now and then. Absolutely mundane work. And I haven't exhibited so far in my life because I don't have the confidence in my work. I don't believe it's good enough still to exhibit. And I've been called to exhibit in so many exhibitions I've visited, and I've seen some exhibitions are so pathetic that you feel, man, this guy is, I'd like to give him an award for being the gutsiest guy in the world. How on earth do you get the courage to exhibit that kind of work is what I'm saying. And there are other people who are looking at the work and coming out with stuff like that. I believe that we've gone down a bad path. I believe that we've gone down a bad path because we have been dishonest with some parts of photography, dishonest with ourselves. So that kind of hurts me, and particularly when I see youngsters coming up to me and talking to me and showing their work, it really makes me feel miserable sometimes. So that's where we are. That's what is wrong with the world of photography. Even when you're doing an advertising shoot, let's say everything is so perfect, the dress has to be that, the jewelry has to be fine, it has to be done. So I talk about this image also of Kareena Kapoor advertising for some jewelry. A beautiful, beautiful makeup, beautiful girl, very good actor, fantastic dressing, nice composition, everything all put together. But the picture, Kareena is such a powerful actor. She's looking so much at peace, but then this finger standing out like this. No? To me, this shows she's holding the hand and the finger standing like this. That shows tension. I read the emotion of the person just through the body language. Also, everybody does.
Yeah.
And you all.
Yeah.
But if you're not able to read that, the photographers failed in the job there.
Mm-hmm.
It's been accepted. It's been showcased. It's been exhibited. It's on billboards all over the place.
Yeah.
So somewhere along the way, we are guilty of doing that. But at the same time, I remember a picture for Lufthansa Airlines, which is a young girl hugging a man. It's just you can see the shoulder of the man and the back of his head, and the girl's expression is pure happiness at having come back to meet somebody. Lufthansa has connected those two people. That kind of a thing, that ad was outstanding in my opinion. Somewhere, if you don't shoot the emotion, if you don't shoot the feel of the picture, if you don't try for it, then you're not going to. You shouldn't be there.
I guess what's happening is that we have been given a tool, but we haven't been given the space to explore things around. We have been.
Sorry.
This is
Can you repeat that?
So what I was telling that we haven't given a tool, but we haven't been given the space to explore around. Right? We have been just told ki ye karo, and they have just put up like to see this is what you have to see, right? And that is what is being appreciated. So if you ask them to be more more courageous, like shoot whatever you want, we will accept it. We'll see what it is. That is not happening, right? They just want to see what they like. They don't want someone to do something new.
They don't feel anything. Yeah, you're right. There was a photographer who complained that, he said, I'm a very good wildlife photographer, but they didn't give me a chance. I want to know who didn't give you a chance. Wildlife didn't give you a chance? What are we talking about? Mm-hmm. We are basically pass the buck all the while is our nature. We don't stand up and take the blow straight to you. We just say, no, but this, no, but that happened, no, but this happened. It's become a habit with our nation also. So I would like one thing to happen is that I'd like the what the federation called? FIP should recognize top quality work. Otherwise, Telangana Photographic Society will recognize top quality work in the world. It's on our agenda. We will recognize the best of photographic work. We will showcase it. We will put those people out there. and we set a benchmark for people to understand what is good photography. People still don't know what is good photography. Till you see somebody laying their heart bare on the print, on the picture, till then you haven't seen a picture. So for me, I idolize this man called James Nakwe. He's an editorial photographer. I'm sure you would have heard of him too. But Nakwe, for me, is the epitome of truth, honesty, and good photography. Whereas there are a lot of other photographers who do editorial work, who come up and, when you come up here, you want to show, it's a very half-baked effort. They don't put in their effort. And in India, you want to show poverty. You already prefixed in your mind, I want to show this. I want to show a cow walking around the street. I want to show the snake charmer. They come with ideas. I know it because I've worked with a photographer. So I'm blessed to have worked with some really phenomenal photographers. So I know what kind of effort they put in. So I remember one time when I was assisting a photographer for Banjo, and we were in Cochin on the, where you have the Chinese fishing nets on the harbor there. A lot of people go there to buy fish in the morning, but there are a lot of other people who go there to use it as a toilet. So it's a very dirty place. But this particular photographer and I actually waded into the water, into the same place, and listen, the angle of that picture demands that. I had to chuck a film roll at him because he was deep in the water trying to get the picture. I was in shallow water. And he said, Arvind, chuck me the film roll. And I chucked it at him. He missed it, it went to the water, went away. And I had to chuck one more film which he caught and then rolled it into the camera and shot it. That is dedication. That is passion. That is what will show up in your pictures eventually. Whereas and today you don't even need a film roll. You just go there and shoot a zillion shots. And you still produce a good picture. And you still produce a picture, and somebody will come up and say, there will be a multiple bunch of know-it-alls who will come and say, this picture would have been better like this. This picture would have been better if it had the light over here, and there's too much of light over there and too little. First thing I would look for is how much of the photographer is there in the picture. If you don't see that, if you don't see the heart and soul of the picture, of the photographer in the picture, you're not seeing a good picture. So what are we talking about in running societies like this, where we are taking people on a ride, we are taking youngsters on a ride? That's what it is. I'm sorry, I'm bad. I think I'm like a total devil out here. But
the photographers themselves, they are not so confident if like they shoot something different. If they show it to someone, they should be like, no, this is what I have visualized. And for that to happen, they have to spend a lot of time before hitting the shutter, and that's not happening probably. They don't think, like, probably that's what I have learned now. When I go out on the street, I would not pick up my camera for like few minutes or, for an hour. I'll just see what's happening. I'll just get adjusted to that. So I'm very glad that I have been taught that. So I also do that. I know that how many pictures I used to shoot earlier when I was in Hyderabad, and at the same time, like I know, like now I barely shoot. Probably if I'm out, I'll shoot one or two because I'm not happy with the scene, or I'm not happy with what I'm getting, or I'm not getting the joy. I'll just leave it. I'll just do it tomorrow or the next time or the next month. That's fine.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's the way to shoot. That's my opinion too.
Yeah.
And if the light is not right, I will not shoot.
Yeah.
I won't shoot. The light is what makes my picture. After the light come if I don't interact with my subject, it does not matter if it is a animate subject, a living subject, or an inanimate subject. So you see a person who's shooting a still life, you'll still see an interaction in the picture. Whereas if you're shooting like I showed you the picture of the girl lying down on, I told you about the yoga teacher, there's interaction, there's connect. If I don't connect with the person, if I don't get that expression at that moment, for me, it is always a mind game when it comes to shooting people.
True.
I get into the head of the persons and shoot.
Yeah.
They may not know it, but I do it that way. So it's not, okay, smile or say cheese or whatever it is. I can see the nastiest of things till I get my picture out. Or I can do that thing. For I know what it is. For me, it's always in the head. So somebody showed me a picture of a very famous politician and told me, look at this picture, so brilliant. You can count every hair of his mustache and beard, so sharp. I don't want to count the hair on somebody's face. It's not my job. The man still looks like he's just been caught in a police station or something like that. So it's not going to do justice to that man. That man was a phenomenal politician, a very good man. So if you've done a picture of him where he doesn't look, where the good doesn't come out, then you've failed in your duty, however sharp your picture might be. Whatever phenomenal lenses you might have used, or whatever cameras you might have used, you failed in your duty there.
Yeah.
So when you look at Raja Deen Dayal, one of the oldest members of the society, Mr. Vishwanathan, told me a story about Raja Deen Dayal, who was the founder of the Telangana Andhra Pradesh Photography Society those days. He said the whole bunch of people used to go out for a shoot, and Raja Deen Dayal used to. I'm sorry, not Raja Deen Dayal. Forgive me. Raja Trembak Raj Bahadur. Yeah, Trembak Raj Bahadur. So he would probably shoot 2 images, 2 frames. But when everybody came back and you compare it, so the 2 frames that he might have shot would be phenomenal. Remind me of a story which I tell people sometimes. If I'm permitted to say this anyway. Prema, you're looking like, are we running out of time?
No. We're both comments side by side.
So there's a fox which goes up to a lioness and says, how many children do you have? So lioness says, 1. I have 1 son in this litter. The fox says, despite being the queen of the forest, look at me, I am a fox and I've had a dozen foxes in my litter, you have only 1. So the lioness says, but my son is the lion. My son is a lion, not a fox. So that's the kind of picture you should go for. So I will also share one more story that I was trying to get through to Nat Geo to work as a photographer over there. It was quite an effort because one of my ambitions was to work for Nat Geo. So I had very limited resources, and somehow I managed to. So I asked this photographer that I was assisting. I said, listen, if I want to go to work with Nat Geo as a photographer, what kind of a portfolio should I take? I mean, how many pictures? What kind of portfolio should I take? He said, Arvind, let me tell you a story. Suppose you die and you go to heaven, and St. Peter there asks you, what were you doing all your life? What would you say? I said, I'd say I was a photographer. So then St. Peter will ask you, show me your picture so I can show it to God whether you can be allowed into heaven or not. That should be your portfolio, is what he said to me. So your picture that you can show to God should be your portfolio. Very impactful statement. That changed my thinking quite
impactful.
I guess that's it.
So you have to give a deep thought to whatever you are going to show there. Then, that's the kind of thought that has to go in before you click the shutter.
Absolutely, Prem. I mean, I believe so, and I believe my worry right now is that we are all. I would definitely like to put YPS, TPS, and Chennai together, and whoever else is willing to join up to create a platform where we should be able to recognize some phenomenal photography.
Yep.
What's happening all around the world? There's students across the world. There's students in India who are doing fantastic work. The youngsters are doing fantastic work. The work is not being recognized.
I guess we should have a section saying, break the rule. That's the only way you can bring out creativity, I guess, because when you're taught and you learn it in a certain way, it takes a long time for you to break away from that and then start something else. Of course, that starts only when you start feeling that well, what next? What do I do? It's the same kind of pictures, it's the same this one. Everybody has, like you said, one of your pictures are among the thousands of them. So I guess to bring out this kind of a creativity, especially photography clubs, I think should come up with something which breaks away from all these rules and which encourages different kind of pictures.
It's a little difficult, but that's a possibility. But again, are we putting them in a box and saying think out of the box and putting them in a box? Just that I think it should be applied to everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I think it's a good start. I think it's something, but I would definitely be reaching out to people and figuring out how to do
Yeah.
these things.
Something where it gives them the freedom to, do
Yeah.
something and then show it to people. See, a lot of people may be doing, like, especially when we start learning, we do a lot of pictures which has no rule in it, nothing, because we hardly would have learned about all these rules and, about all these highlights being blown out and shadows being to this thing, but there could be a creative picture that you could have done. All right, may not be very consciously, but then, because of these rules, we are so a lot of people, newcomers, they're very, very skeptical about showing their pictures. So if you have something which says, well, it doesn't matter what rules or whatever it is, you just show your picture. Of course, we used to do that in our open houses where people, we used to have a program at YPS called Open House on Saturdays, where people could just bring any kind of picture. It was not salon related or it was not nothing. Newcomers could come and then get a feedback. But yeah, a different kind of approach is necessary, I guess.
Yeah, I guess
I'm glad I'm able to convince you about that.
yeah, I guess what we need to do is, we need to have workshops without camera. You know, get them to see things first. Let them see first.
Really good thought. I think it was a brilliant thought.
Yeah, so the point is, the more you see, the more you get engaged with what's in front of you. You will put yourself into such a situation that you'll start thinking like, okay, what can I do better or what can I do good? You know what? Usually when I want to shoot something, what I do is I just go through the Google, Pinterest, and see what has already been shot. Okay. Purpose, I wouldn't try like to mimic it, to the same shot, but I would see what I can do something different, what I would like. I know what my taste is, so I add that also into that. Probably that might help me get a picture what I like, and may people might see something new. That is what probably we need to ask them to do in today's time. If we just ask them to give a timeline saying today is a workshop and we're gonna get some images out of it, no. And other thing what I wanted to tell you is that when you go to the god, and your portfolio will be judged to whether you go to hell or heaven. That's the scale. It's not that I shoot today, post it the next minute and get the likes. No, that is not what you should look for. It's like the years.
Yeah.
You shoot one or two images in a month or an year, but make sure that you give a lot of thought behind it. And once you do that, that one image is more than what you shoot like 1,000 images.
One image
Right?
is a line.
Yeah. So I guess patience is what we really need to learn. The way we have got the technology today, someone had commented, I'll go to the company for the AI, the artificial intelligence, it is doing on its own. And it's doing so fast. It's taking decisions on your behalf. But then what is your give to it? What are you adding to it? How much time are you giving it? Right? I guess patience is what we need to learn. If we just keep behind following the numbers and the followers and the like, I guess we're going to be stuck very badly.
Yeah.
I'll just
I brought this, comment by Srinath Narayan. You can go ahead and read it, Hardik, because I thought
love is
it's
an
very
art
relevant.
where leaders and accomplished folk very seldom are good teachers. Imparting knowledge is also a skill which needs to be honed. Yep.
I think he's hit the nail on the head, Srinath Narayan.
Yeah.
Most perfect statement you put together there.
Yeah.
So here, you first have to hone the skills of the teachers before you start honing the skills of the student.
Yeah, true.
So,
Everywhere. All three.
Another thing we need to learn is whom we make our mentors as. It's really very tricky thing. Like you just cannot call someone a mentor. I mean, with due respect, anyone who has experience, definitely they carry so much of knowledge and they have reached to a certain point. But make sure that when you choose a mentor or a teacher, they ask you to expand yourself and not be confined in a
yeah,
box.
yeah.
Right? That's
See,
very
we
important.
all go through mentors, of course, they teach us the basics. They don't say you stick to this. You
Yeah.
need a stepping stone, you need a guru, where you learn the basics at least. Otherwise, what you learn under a mentor for, say, maybe a few months will take you years to do it on your own.
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean that you stick to that and not go beyond it.
So, like in Bangalore, when you look at the images in wildlife, of late I've been looking at Shahjang and Mithun. Their images are so outstanding. I'm sure there are other people also doing some fantastic work, but these two people, they're relatively young, but they're really producing some phenomenal images.
Okay. I haven't heard those names, but I'll do post this.
Shaz, Shaz. And Mithun is the guy who shot that panther couple, the panther in the shadow.
Mhm.
And your Karnataka forest area. Manipur, I think.
Nice. I'll look forward for it.
Yeah. If you want to look at something, so what I'm saying is, look at when I look at work done by Nakwe, he did a shoot in India on tuberculosis. Tuberculosis in Calcutta.
Mhm.
You look at the images and you will realize what a mind Nakwe is. I mean, the images are right next to you. I mean, you're in Calcutta. Calcutta is something you can go to in one day. But you go there, you set it up, and you shoot these images and come back. It'll take you a lifetime of learning and understanding before you come to that stature. Please look at Nachtwey, Nachtwey. I always Calcutta images. They're like phenomenal. Narasimha, thank you. Thank you.
To get some insight into the art and craft of professional photography for a novice like me. Interesting talk. I mean, yeah, Narasimha, I guess good to have you sir here. I'll just go through the comments which came early in the. Yeah, Chandu says, really appreciate your sincere thoughts about salon photography. Kudos. And I echo Mr. Yogesh Mokshi says, I'm so enjoying this, how true and how to the point. Yes, I mean, it's time when, when we not hide ourselves and tell what has to be told, right? If not, the ship will get sunk and we will only come to know after the water is above our head.
Good. There's no negative comments out there. I'd love to see some negative comments.
Yeah, I know. It would be interesting then, when you get a negative comment. I'm looking for it. Let's see.
Okay, Basu.
Let's go with that.
As I see, is something what we asked. If you cannot see, rather have the vision, then I would say that person is a cameraman, not a photographer. Yep, just behind the another tool.
Yeah, Basu. To the point, buddy. Very comments ilva ali.
Sorry.
Very comments ilva ante.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on, guys. I think the viewer has to put in, such a thought-provoking or, some comment which will really make us.
Yeah, this is a time. I mean, don't be scared of it. That it's gonna.
I know. No. There are people who also love the kind of pictures that they're doing, and maybe it could be even going by the rules to the T. That also doesn't have to be a bad picture. Even those can still be different, isn't it?
Yeah. Absolutely.
It can be different. It can be, you can follow all the rules. It's not that every time the rule has to be broken, I guess. Because, you see a lot of photographers, their pictures, the first impression that you feel is, wow, it's such a nice picture. You don't think if all the rules are fallen in place and all that. It hits you saying that it's just a beautiful picture. I think that's the first reaction is what really counts.
Yeah, I'm not saying break the rules because I said so. I'm saying the rules definitely help you to make a better picture. But there are so many more things that you can do, which we are not talking about, which we are not doing. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, please, by all means, stick to the rules if you feel like it, but come up with something which is original. Come up with something which you look at and then say, have I seen this before should come up in my head. Everybody gets the same picture. You go to a particular fort, let's say they come, you'll have about 5,000 images of the same angle. So it's the same thing.
True. I mean, I like to again put this. Like, we had been for astrophotography to what was that place? Shetty Church, and I remember Shetty Church. I didn't shoot that night. I like no. Let me see what's happening, because that was my third or fourth astro shoot. What I did. The first one was in Hyderabad, where I guess you also attended the Milky Way shoot, which we did. I forgot the place. We were like some 20 or 40 cars in like a convoy. We went to a place. Nanjin, no, I forgot the name. So that was my first. Yes, yeah. Arvind sir was there, and we did some Milky Way. The whole night we were shooting. I shot that night like quite good number of images because I was so fast. I mean, it was so fascinating that I could shoot a Milky Way through my DSLR, right? And it was like early days for me. And when I came here for a shuttle, I was like, no, let me see what's happening around, right? I can always visit the place, though it's far. It's not that I cannot go back to the place, but once you understand the place around you, probably you can come up with some images which no one would have thought of, right?
So when you speak about that Shetty shoot, I remember Hardik, Vinod Sundar had come and he had brought a very wide angle lens, and he gave it to me to use it, and I started shooting with that. And I love those pictures with that, though people said, of course, it gives a distortion and all that. I somehow felt, that distortion is what I felt was very artistic in nature. It was, I don't know, those pictures, I still love them so much, though everybody says, no, this, since you have a very wide angle, it's distorted, this thing has to be, the pillar or the tower has to be straight. So,
Yeah.
So what do you say about this, Arvind? When I keep saying no, I love the picture as it is. I love the distortion. So, how do you? What advice would you give me now?
Look, if you love it, you love it. There must be something about it. Don't kill it. There have been times when I've looked at my pictures and I've not liked my pictures. I've put them away. And I've come back to them after 10 years. And I said, no, I was a good photographer at that time. I shot a really good picture, but at the time of shooting something, when I probably didn't like it. But so what I'm saying is, don't let any judgment of yours come in at that point of time. Let it wait, let it cook in your head. Forget about it. When you come back to it the next time around, you may like it even better, you may not like it. Let it cook. As you evolve, I keep saying this statement. As you evolve as a person, thus will your photography also evolve.
Yep.
It will also change exactly the way you are. It will not be a technical gadgetry. Like if you're doing wildlife photography, if you can afford the longest lens and the best camera and a very nice tripod and a best tour guide, you're going to get some successful pictures. But how good are you shows up in the passion, how much of a body of work have you come up with? That's what will set you apart.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say anything about that, Prema. I just say to you that just hang on there and just keep shooting. The more you shoot, the better. The more you think, better images you get, and go for it.
Yeah, that's an argument sometimes I have with some people and even with my mentor, with some close friends, when they say, no, this is not to be. But then for me, I look at it in a very different, perspective, because I also was into painting traditional art and all that. For me, art is a totally different thing. Maybe, that is why maybe I find photography, where you have to go by the rules, a little difficult. And, once I have taken a set of pictures, after that, to show the same things, it bores me a little, and every time I feel, why am I this dissatisfied, when people say a picture is good and they showcase it in so many places, you keep submitting the same pictures, you get so many awards in the picture, but that's a little too boring.
So when you look at talking of awards and all, also I'm talking when I look at the Pulitzer Award which are coming out, somewhere along the way, I believe the Pulitzer, which is Pulitzer Award, the award which they gave to India, some Kashmiri photographer got it in last year. somewhere I find that there's so many better things that you could have shot and showcased. The award-winning pictures, are they doing justice over there? Is what I feel sometimes, even in the best of field. So they tend to pick pictures which are probably dictated to by political climate. So if you show something negative in India, then if Pulitzer gives you an award, then people like you and me will think that you're shooting negative will give you an award. Pulitzer is the god. I mean, so to me, it does not God. To me, there is good and there is bad which you can shoot. Shoot truth. Shoot the truth. Don't shoot anything because you want to win an award. And I have less faith in awards which are like that, which seem to be getting manipulated by political climates. We have a beautiful country. How many of us have sort of sat up and said, "Yeah, we can do a fantastic story on the beauty of India"? Nobody does it. I mean, they'll say, "Arey, wahan pe dekho yaar," if you go over there, you'll see they shoot beggars, they shoot cows on the street. Like I said, they shoot monkeys. There is so much, and I'm on a book project where I'm shooting unsung heroes, and I met such phenomenal people in India that keeps me happy and going.
Yeah, Satish says Arvindji has a very good points. People like awesome, wow, fantastic, but don't like a person who critiques the image. They don't like change. Difficult people. Yeah.
Difficult to change people. You can't change people. People have to change themselves. I can only change myself. I can't change you.
That's true, Satish. So we'll give it a good shot, man.
Yeah. It's required.
Yeah.
I guess what you said.
Interesting.
Yeah. Please bring it up. You bring up something?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. He came back with from wildlife photography without a single frame after spending 2 days. Yeah, I guess these were the days back when film was a, you're like, hey, you went so many kilometers away and then you didn't shoot. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad it's because of that attitude that Hamudra was recognized as one of the doyens of photography in wildlife. So that kind of an attitude made him stand apart at that time. So anybody with that attitude will come back with some good image.
I guess what we should say is it's okay if you didn't shoot an image. Did you get inspired from the location so that next time when you go, you shoot something what you like, right? The question is, do you get inspired? Yeah, the best teachers are those who tell.
I like this. Yeah, but not tell you what to look.
Yeah. Put them in a minute.
So, I've got a lot of experience.
This is a good one.
Yeah, but I'm glad. I think I've kind of excited a lot of people into thinking this way. So.
Yeah. Just bringing this up, the place was Shivanaguda. Yep, the place was Shivanaguda. It was a fun night, definitely.
I was also saying that.
You and Prashant sir were sitting in the very different, far away corner. I know that you both have got the, different shots, different angles, but we were just roaming around that same place near the temple and the tree. That I remember that.
There's an interesting question by Yogesh Mokshi. He says, how would one know one has it in them to be a photographer?
Look, Yogesh, I will just before this program started, I was talking to Hardik Prema and Vikas also about something. There was this very dear friend of mine who was a phenomenal singer, a playback singer, sitting at home one day and having breakfast with me when I have the habit of bursting into a song, and he stopped eating. He looked at me and said, "Arvind, you sing horribly." I said, look, as far as I'm concerned, you're sitting in my house, you're eating my food, they don't listen to me. So I would want to know whether good food they have it, and then they're going to keep trying. And I'm pretty sure my voice, in my opinion, I'm a great singer, but it doesn't matter. So I enjoy it, I do it. So it doesn't really matter whether you enjoy it over a period of time, it will come through. It will come through. I should be able to hold at least one note for about 4.5 seconds. That should be good enough.
I guess nobody has it in them. It's all developed, and it's all with the interest and the passion that you carry it in yourself that you excel in something.
It's not a genetic thing like singing. It is something which can be built over a period by observing, by drawing in from whatever you see, by thinking. So by reading, I think reading is one of the most underrated studies. I'm not talking about reading philosophy. You read about anybody's philosophy and all that. So I'm reading a book on by Marcus Aurelius called Meditations right now. So this I don't know when it'll give you some different insights, some different thought. So I think reading is a very critical thing for photography, for anything. I'm only talking to you about changing as a person, evolving as a person, so that your photography will also change. So that we break away from this thing where somebody has created the norms and said, this is good photography, this is not good photography. I don't believe that somebody. That's all that I.
There's another question by Chandrasekhar. He says, but generally people get disappointed by the way they judge your pictures and your thoughts.
I need
I don't think one should pay too much attention to what other people's judges, either a wow or a negative comment. I think you should go by your own heart, and then.
Chandrasekhar is talking generally about anybody's picture or about generally.
Yeah.
Generally,
Why be bothered? Why be bothered? If somebody comes and tells you your child is very ugly, are you going to be affected?
You remember the Kannada saying, "Hettavarge hegna muddu." Kannada saying which says, "Hettavarge hegna muddu." So as a photographer, all our pictures are babies. Right. You haven't heard of that Kannada proverb?
No. What does it mean actually?
It means, like you're, even for a bandicoot, its own child, it's beautiful. It's so fond of its own child. For us, bandicoot is something very ugly. Yeah. So, your baby is your baby at the end of the day.
The same thing is there with a crow in Telugu. The same problem. With a crow. So it's okay, it doesn't matter.
But of course, I do find bandicoots very handsome. It's not that they're ugly. I don't think there's anything ugly in this creation. It's only the way we see it.
I guess only we are the only person who knows what the way we have come through, right? Everyone comes from a different background. Everyone have their thoughts differently. I mean, the way they have come up, the way they have grown up. So definitely what they shoot or what thoughts they have when they are judging is going to be different, and it's okay. If someone says this is not the way it's supposed to be, this is what I would like it, it's okay, fine, because that is how you would, you would have got inspired, or you would like, that's your taste. The way I have come up, this is my taste, right? And it's completely fine. We need to accept that.
There is a phenomenal.
That's exactly what Kashi here says. He says everybody has their own vision and thought when they step in making picture. It all differs from one to another. If is praised, he is happy. Satisfaction is the goal. Well, for some people, praise here and there is important, but for some it isn't. But on the whole, I don't think one should get either too elated by a praise or too dejected by a negative statement. Many a times, don't you agree about this, Arvind? It's the negative statements which really, bring out something better in you, because that will provoke your thought.
Correct. So, do you remember the photographer from Bombay who's done the sewage workers series? I forget his name right now. He got a Padma Shri or something like that also recently. Padma or Padma.
What are that?
The sewage workers in Bombay.
Sewage workers,
Uh,
this one.
he did some fantastic work over there, and all depends. You can come from any. He comes apparently he comes from somewhere very close to that kind of community, and he shot from his heart. That is what set his pictures aside. So shooting. I mean, I'm just saying, sewage workers also were shown getting into sewage drains, cleaning up the sewage, and he was awarded Padma Award. Name elude me. I'm getting old.
They have to regulate. Yep. Let me.
You can bring in Benny. Okay.
Perceptions, ideas, opinions, experience, judgment of photographing differs from person to person. Yes. So it's difficult to accept constructive criticism. I guess we need to learn to be more open and be more positive and not get defended.
This brings
That's
to
a,
me another question. How do you know a criticism is constructive or it's irrelevant? See, for a learner especially, see, I've just started learning photography now. I post a picture, say, even on our, yeah, where we have a photo share, and then there will be a lot of people commenting on it. Now, how do I know which one to take and which one not to take?
Do you need to know?
Mm-hmm.
Do you need to know? I'm just saying, if it's a criticism, just take it for face value. If you think it affects you, let it be. If it doesn't affect you, let it go. You can't take everybody's
So the criticism has to kind of, provoke this thing in you, a reaction thinking. It has to bring in a
Yeah.
thought. Then it is constructive.
If not, it's okay. Leave it. Leave it. There's so much more to do in life than to think of other people's criticism.
No, why I asked you this is because it's always good to, have some criticism. Like I said, it always makes you improve upon yourself. Otherwise, you think everything is fine and you kind of stagnate. It's the criticism which really, pushes you up a notch. So there again, we need to know which to take and what not to take. So there's a
Look,
very, it's a gray area.
Look, if somebody were to criticize my picture, I wouldn't be bothered by it. I would think of it for a second. But if it were James Nathway saying something about my picture, I would think about it for a day or two also. So it all depends on the person who's critiquing me. If I believe that that person is really somebody I look up to, then I would definitely think 100 times about it. If I believe that person is not, he's saying it in all honesty, I will think about it for a fraction of a minute.
Yeah.
If I didn't believe that person had any value, I wouldn't even think of it.
How about a person that you don't know at all?
I wouldn't even be bothered about it.
No, but that could still be a very good criticism.
Okay, I think
Somebody
about
you
it for a
don't
second.
know, but it could be something really, which could
Should
push
I?
your
Should I?
talent further up.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I don't know. I learn in different ways. So that one criticism I miss also, it's okay by me. There's something genuine will come back to me sooner or later. But till that point of time, I am not going to get destroyed by criticism, is my firm belief.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I will use any criticism which affects me for the better. I will say, yes, it is good for me, and I will take it forward.
Yeah.
Okay. What I'm saying is there are millions of options and choices in front of you that we can do. We just go ahead and do it.
Yeah, of course, it's very important not to let it, let it make you dejected or disappointed and go off photography,
Yeah.
different reason. Like, I'm sure you still keep singing.
See, art is very subjective, and if someone is jumping into it, they should really know that what they're gonna get in front of them, right? Because there are people who will like it, there are people who will not like it. For example, if you shoot an image here in India and if it crosses boundary, so it goes to some other country, they might really appreciate it, right? Like the sewage workers, but here they'll say, "Arey, kya kaam kar raha hai tu?" Right?
Sudhara Kolbe. Thank you, Srikanth. That is a photograph of sewage workers' picture, Sudhara Kolbe. I was trying to recall the name. You should look at his work. It's very good.
So I
Thanks,
guess
Srikanth.
it's subjective. Yeah.
Are we?
It's
Have I
it's been
taxed?
pretty interesting, and yeah, I think
Yeah.
we will have to really close the session, though we could have gone on and on because it's one topic that you can keep talking about, and
Yeah.
yeah.
We'll just do the last one
Mm-hmm.
and come to end of session.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's from Venish Rani. He says, earlier in your talk, you mentioned about taking a photo with breaking rules, that is reference to the girl showing cancer, versus what is applicable to salon where composition rules have to be followed. Kindly share your thoughts.
Earlier in your talk, you mentioned about taking a photo with breaking the rules. That is a reference to the girl showing cancer. I don't recall this girl showing cancer. Would you know what?
The zodiac sign, what you
No,
were
no,
mentioning.
he meant, yeah.
Cancer. Okay. Sorry. I'm sorry. I understand it now. Okay. No, that is not a question of rule or versus what is applicable to a salon where composition rules have been followed. Kindly share your thought. So what I'm saying, very Srini, is that if you want to do salon work, if you know how to do work, if you know what it is to produce the work, and you know that salons need this kind of a picture, I could probably shoot um, a dozen salon images in 2 days, and they will all be accepted or winners. It's not a very difficult task for me. Whereas if I want to shoot something which is very personal to me, I'll be very happy to shoot what is very personal and nice to me. That's what I'm saying. So salon work, if you're focused on that, please go ahead. Nobody's
Yeah.
going to stop you. You
Yeah.
want to use,
Yeah.
nobody's going to, that's what gives you a kick. My
Mm.
point that I'm trying to make is salons are not the only thing that should be there
Yeah,
to recognize quality photography.
that's true.
That is
Yeah.
not to me the great best of photography. I would rather
Correct.
create a new platform. I would rather recognize great talent who have been doing some phenomenal work. And I don't think, like when you talk about Sudhara Kolbe, I don't think he'd win any salon award. Or Raghurai would not, pictures might get rejected in salon. So big deal. I would rather recognize people who've been doing some phenomenal work differently. So salon work, yes, if that's what excites you, if that's what keeps you going, please go ahead.
Yeah.
If you want to do something for yourself, please go ahead. Just that I'd like you to think and do. That's all that.
Actually, salons, we are forgetting that what salon is. Salon is nothing but an exhibition. It's a physical exhibition. Nothing practically that if you put up an exhibition every year or every 6 months with same set of images, with time, people will stop coming to our exhibitions because they have been seeing the same stuff. Now, when it is going to be an exhibition, try to bring something new for the people who are walking in. If we understand this, we wouldn't have such a rules. We probably will change rules according to the time, right? But that's not happening now. The salon is nothing but the distinctions or the acceptances or the numbers or the awards. It's all about that. We have forgotten the what salon means. Like Krishna Bhatt, who is from our salon team, he tells that we should have a rule where every organizer of a salon should mandatorily bring up an exhibition, right? If such a rule comes and people understand that who are participating, that my image is going to be exhibited in so and so hall on so and so particular date, they will think that I want to show something new to the people, not the same image what's been running 10 years down the line, right?
Yeah.
Because
You don't rest on past glories, is what you're saying. So if
Yeah.
you shot
Correct.
a few images what I'm talking about is like, let's say the typical salon work, a good advertising photographer, a good can probably produce it in no time at all. The skills of the trade are very powerful. Uh, but is that what you want to do?
yeah,
So,
well,
like if you got wildlife photography, it's a little difficult to get a really good wildlife image. So I can understand if that image gets repeated in various salons. Whereas, how long will you repeat even that? People do, yeah, this is so and so photographer. Same picture going through 40 salons. They get 40 different recognitions, and you put it on your card, and people think, okay, you're now a fantastic photographer because you can't shoot a nice picture of the child next door.
yeah. Yeah.
Hardik, I'm getting a feeling that I played around with your mind, man.
Sorry.
I'm getting a feeling that I've actually played around with your mind too much. You're too serious.
No, just thinking something. So
No,
I
wait.
comment.
Yeah, okay, reading correct. Okay.
What I
Yeah,
was
okay.
thinking was now, like to understand that salon is not the only thing, or to think differently. For example, I'm just using commercial photography as an example. Like, say if you are into commercial photography, like you are a photographer to earn your bread, you would be in the market in such a way that you would not lose the energy down the line, right? Down the time. Like you would try to bring something new so that you always stand up, right? So you start thinking like in different ways. Okay, someone is shooting and same thing. If I do the same thing, probably people aren't gonna like it. They will get it done from there with less this thing. But if I think that okay, let me bring something new and then show it, and then that is what it helps. I guess commercial photography is one where people can actually think that it's a mind process. It's a like churning, right? And then you apply it somewhere here.
Look, Karthik, as a professional, you have to shoot at least 95% value 100% of the time. As an amateur, if you shoot 5% of the time, 100% picture also is good enough. So if as a professional, if you don't shoot 100% of the time really good images, which you're not going to be living very long on that, you'll change your profession pretty soon.
Exactly. You cannot
Well,
stay long. You're gonna get exhausted and probably gonna get
I'm
kicked
doing
off.
it for my passion and have happiness. It doesn't matter if I produce 2 pictures in a year also which are good. It's okay. If I believe
I
salons
think
will
this
be,
was one of the few sessions where we have, not shown many pictures, but have had a very thought-provoking conversation, and time has really flown by. It has been really. At least I enjoyed the session, and I only hope that
Yeah,
everybody. Of course, going by the comments, you can see that a lot of thought-provoking ideas and comments have come up. It's good. So
good.
I
Thank you.
guess now we'll
yeah.
have to bring
For,
the curtains down. Yeah, we have a whole shot.
we should do this more often, like probably 6 months once, just to make ourselves aware that
Yeah. Yes.
change is needed, change is constant.
Yeah.
Okay, with this, sorry,
Are we done, Hardeep?
Wonderful.
come again, sir. I didn't get you.
Yeah, I said, are we done?
Yeah, yeah. So we'll just close the session. Before we close, I'll just go through round of announcements and then we'll say bye to our audiences. And thank you once again, Arvind sir, for coming to
Mm.
YPS. You're a member, but still as a
My
yeah,
pleasure.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
privilege.
guys. Yeah.
It was a nice thing to talk to you about. You've given me a platform. I'm very grateful to you for that.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
sir. Before
Okay,
I end, let me bring up announcements.
yeah.
So the next week's YPS meet is on Sunday, 21st March. It's going to be about Hampi with Hampi Banagar. The presenter is Mr. Shivashankar Banagar, who is also known as Hampi Banagar. So it's going to be a virtual tour to Hampi and some wonderful images I want to see there. The Drishti February edition will be coming out soon on our website, so do keep a tab and we will notify you when it's available. And coming to the question what I had asked earlier, I would want to pick up the winner, and that's I guess it was Mr. Sandeep Dattaraju. I'm trying to bring up that comment. Yes, I guess the first person who gave this answer was Srinath Narayan, but then I had told that the person who is answering should not be from the YPS subcommittee or the street team or the executive committee. So sorry, we ruled that out. And the next question, Sridhar is saying that the number of copies I have got after joining YPS. Actually, it's open. I mean, you just need to go to the website. You can just download all the copies. You don't need to wait for someone to send you a copy. It's completely available there. Just go to the website, log in with your credentials, or if not, you can just go download all 12, all 8 of them right now. Yes, Sandeep Duttaraju, correct answer, and yes, that's it. So let me know your handle in the comment section. So I'll just give a shout out at the end. Congratulations, yeah. And I hope you have gone through all the 8 issues. If not, go through them and do let us know your review. You can post it here on the comment or on our WhatsApp number so that it helps us improve to make a better journal.
I think we should have a quiz here on the, webinar about Drishti. There's so many very good articles there, and there's a lot of information. So
I guess
I
what we
guess we
will do.
should have something there so that it's going to
Let's
be
plan.
interesting. One interesting session.
Yeah, to all the audiences, start going through the issues and see what is of your interest and what you would want to see in our journal. We will try to include that in future issues
Yeah.
and be ready. We will probably will come up with something what just Prema mentioned about having a quiz. Yeah, that sounds fun. Now, coming to the last but not the least announcement, it's about becoming a member. It's completely digitalized. All you need to do is scan the QR code, which is on your screen, or go to www.ypsbengaluru.com, and the whole process is digitalized. You can become a member in a jiffy. And right now, if you have not followed us on our social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, do hit the like and follow button. Do not miss on it. We want you to be the first one to get notified whenever we post content. So if you're on watching it on YouTube, hit the subscribe button and click on the bell icon so that you get notified when we push new content on the channel. With this, we would want to thank all our viewers. Thank you for staying with us till now. And stay home, stay safe. The pandemic is not over, but good thing is we have vaccination which is being rolled out. So be patient and take all the precautionary measures after you get the vaccination done also, because it's really important for everyone, not just you, your family, your friends, people around you. So please follow all the guidelines post vaccination also, and let us see that we make our world COVID free and again gather in our YPS meets and get some selfies and have some fun sharing knowledge sessions. With this, I would like to thank again and have a good evening.